Good evening, can't even see him on camera. Anyway, good evening, everyone. You just missed Carter throwing up on himself. We are going to go ahead and get started. Um, they'll be right back. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and get started about our topic today. I know it's been a while since I've been live and talking about things that really needs to be talked about. And I feel like what needs to be talked about right now are opportunities for our youth in STEM. So I don't know how many people have really been thinking about this or concerned about it, but it's one of the major things that really comes to light for me, something that I'm really, really passionate about. So I was recently on a um, webinar where we were talking about STEM opportunities. This one happened to be in geology. And I'm going to be on another one that's on marine science soon. And the thing about it is, there's a lot of people, minority people, people of color, just everyone who are into STEM, but I don't see that stuff coming to the Bay Area. I don't see a lot of people who are from Oakland or from Richmond or from San Francisco who are taking advantage of these opportunities, especially the youth. And I'm a very big proponent on making sure our youth get the opportunities that everyone else gets. So I wanted to do this podcast to talk about ways we can get our youth interested in STEM and what it is that they need from us to go ahead and get started. So, for example, I have always been into science and in STEM, but I was really introduced to outside sciences, I guess you could say sciences like marine science and oceanography from a class that I had at Encinal High School in Alameda. That class was taught by a teacher and it was marine biology. If you know anything about Encinal High School, it is right on the edge of the island. So you have the back of the school, which is where the baseball field, the football field, all that stuff is. On the other side of that is a gate, and there on the other side of that is an estuary. So that professor or teacher actually had us put on waders, go out, dredge that area, get some soil, get some water samples. We even had an aquarium in our classroom where we had collected some of those like small creatures and things like that that were that was in our classroom that we got to monitor, which was really cool. And so he also did, I'll never forget, we had a field trip on a boat where we were out into the ocean. They would drop this big old claw like thing that would dredge up dirt, and we got to filter through it and see what kind of animals and stuff was in there, what kind of plant material was in there, which was cool. I loved all of that. And it was like, oh, okay, these are some other things that we can do, right? And I don't even know. Do these opportunities are these that's still happening in the Bay Area? Are we doing hands-on opportunities for our youth in the Bay? I know there's some programs, of course, like Black Girls Code and self-esteem and so many other things that's geared especially to our girls. But what about our boys? What about our boys of color? How are they doing in STEM? What are we doing for them? You know, talk to me. What do you think?
For young men in STEM?
Well, everyone, our youth, really in general.
Well, STEM has the battle that has been programmed into us, our minorities, to be entertainers of some sort. Like we still don't have enough young men and women coming into politics, or um, we would say fields that actually pay behind the scenes. We're so taught to be in front of a camera or on a mic to be heard that we don't want to do anything that isn't um, right in the face of someone else. So STEM has a lot to combat. I mean, we could say that about a couple of platforms that could fall in STEM when it comes to trying to recruit young minorities into it. STEM is very important. I mean, we not when I was going to school, we were taught how to make a stink bomb or how to power things with a potato or dissect a frog or a worm or something of that. But when we look at how STEM actually does work and function and move all of what we do, a lot of us don't know about that. We don't know that that's what science is. It's some people back in the days called it magic, but it was science.
Right. And so give me a quick shout out. Hey Deshaun, thank you for joining us. If you have any questions or comments, make sure you put them in the chat. Yeah, he said what's up to the boss baby. Boss baby is now very active baby who does not sit still ever, which is fine. We're learning together. But as we digress. Oh, Deshaun said, I got someone I need to have y'all meet. One of my frat brother's son just graduated from high school and is going to college to study biology. Cool. Send them my way. I got my degrees in biology and I know all kinds of people in those fields. So, and let me know what they need or what they're looking for. But anyway, so this conversation, like I said, came up. I was on a webinar for geosciences and they were talking about diversity and inclusion. They were talking about how can we get more people of color? How can we be more inclusive? How can we highlight these people? And they had a panelist of social media people from NASA. Now, we know NASA got money, right? So they got all kinds of people doing social media. They got every section or every NASA has their own social media like group of people who monitor it, right? This organization is very, very small. Uh-oh, Deshaun said we froze. Hopefully it comes back. But yeah, this organization is very, very small, but it has great opportunities. This is the organization that allowed me to go to New Zealand and they paid for it. And they travel all over the world with a research vessel, and they are looking for college age students, they're looking for teachers, they're looking for professionals who are interested in geosciences to come. But we need people to go. We need people from our area, people who are representing. We need all of that. And so I'm really concerned about how we can do that. Oh, Deshaun says, what's up?
What's up?
But how can we do that? How can we get more people, more of our students, more people of color, more teachers involved in this?
Well, I mean, to me, it starts with the parents as well as the students, but everybody has to be with one accord on it. I mean, and then you also got to remember that this generation is different when it comes to what's going to appeal to them. What worked for our generation or for us isn't necessarily going to work for them.
Right.
And to me, science is really good when you had CSI, the forensic team, how they would use the technology to show how they got to their answers, and scientists would walk through digital remakes or CGI remakes of how they got of a sale or things of that nature. Those things was entertaining to me, but now to today's youth, they want to know how does that make money.
Which I understand. Now, let me digress. CSI was such a lie as a TV show, unfortunately, because CSI personnel do not chase people with guns.
Real talk.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so it did bring some people into the field, but when they got into the field, they realized it was nothing like television. So, but growing up, we had the Magic School Bus. We had, 3-2-1 Blast Off. We had Beekman's World. We had all kinds of programming. I think they are trying to bring it back, but I haven't seen anything. Yeah, Deshaun, they would solve a crime in 30 minutes. Right? That's not how CSI really works. Crime scene investigators don't do that. Ricky Pearson says, hey, nephew.
Hey.
Yeah, they don't do that.
That's
You know
my
what I'm saying?
brother.
They're not even going to um they're not even going there in heels and pantsuit. They got on a whole like hepatic outfit that's going to make sure that they are not contaminating the scene, not chasing people with a gun. You know.
Well, and I get it. I get it. Like there was a lot of inconsistencies and myths that were implemented into that particular field. However, it drew people in. So drawing people in is what we want to do with accuracy. Don't get me wrong, but I mean to be a track runner, they're not going to tell you you got to run 4 days a week distance and weight training. They're just going to show you the races. They're going to show you the winnings of those particular races to draw in the people. After they get there, you weed out the ones that really don't want to do it. But I mean, let's be real. The things that are truly beneficial to the minority group is not taught to us at a young age to even be interested in. I mean, let's be real. How many of our high school students really know how to budget? Do they even know what credit is? These things are important, but they don't know it until we get into college and mounts of debts, and then we can't buy a car.
That's a whole nother topic
Yes,
we
it
could
is.
get on.
But I mean,
But
I say that to say how that applies to STEM. Most of
right.
us aren't introduced to STEM until our last year of high school and truly, really just thrown in the thralls of it in college.
Yes and no, you know, because it is often taught in elementary, even in junior high. I think geology and like biology, stuff like that, simple stuff is taught in like junior high or whatever. But how do we keep them interested? You know what I mean? Like, and I hear what you're saying. These kids don't see how these type of careers can make them money outside of tech.
Yes.
But you know, even in tech, you know, there's a lot of students who either don't have access to computers or they don't have the time, so to speak, to even dive into computer science or something like that, or they don't know anybody who do it, so they don't see how beneficial it can be. Which is a shame because here in the Bay Area, we have all these tech companies where there are a plethora of people from every walk of life who are willing to come talk to these students. So do we put that on the parents or do we put that on the teachers to say, hey, there are people in these fields that could speak to your kids, be mentors, something like that. So Deshaun said they put carrots in front of the horse mentality, which is true. Yeah,
Yes.
they
Yes.
do. They
I
definitely
agree.
do that.
100.
And it was branded that science and being smart wasn't cool. And unfortunately, most fell for that line of thinking. Very, very true.
Yes.
Unfortunately, yeah, there's a lot of people, even to this day, who are like, science isn't cool, or you know what I'm saying, you're a nerd, blah 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 blah. I mean, I think things are changing. Hopefully, you know, with all this movement of body positivity and cancel culture and all this other stuff, and there would definitely, hopefully, be some time where this changes. So Felicia says something about BetterBox learning. I'm gonna have to Google that, but she's a guide at BetterBox for STEM. So you know, I am going to actually share. We are on Restream right now. So I'm going to share a link into the chat. And so if you guys want to join in the conversation visually, you're more than welcome to come talk to us. But she says she's a guide at BetterBox. She thinks the concept is changing. I think it's changing too. I've seen some people who are really doing well on TikTok and Instagram when it comes to STEM. There's a lot of things that are being talked about and being shared, and they're becoming like STEM influencer. Which, by the way, that panel that we were talking about, or I was talking about, honestly, um, that panel with the NASA people, they were actually talking about how when they have big events like a liftoff or something like that, they or rover landing, it's they the last one they did, they invited STEM influencers to a preview of what was going on so that they can share it on their social media and therefore bring in their followers into NASA, which is cool. But, I asked the question, how did you pick these influencers? Who are they? Because I follow NASA on my own and I didn't see any STEM influencers except for one person who had shared this information previously. So who are these influencers? Who are they talking to and what is their audience? Because I almost can guarantee you it's not a lot of people out here in the back. Now we just put Carter in a walker, so all that rolling sound is him crashing into everything in the kitchen. FYI. Yeah. So oh shoot. It's moving. I know better. We have a table that moves, and I didn't lock it. That's
You
my
saw
fault.
how she panicked, right?
Yeah, because y'all don't need to see everything that's going on around here. It's locked now, and Carter is making a mess. However, what do you have to say?
No, I was going to say that. I mean, social media, the social media platform is a great way to bring in youth. And when you talk to youth, a lot of them are using Instagram Reel or TikTok. So we have to do STEM and those little short reels of what you can learn from it and how it can be functional. Like, I put like this to get a lot of people into DJing, right? Most people used to do little small videos of just what they used to do at a club or a party, but that the party was always lit, right? And so you got to use STEM in that same type of. To me, you got to put STEM in that same type of vessel. Like, I'm gonna just throw this out here. That man can cook, and when he do his shut up and eats, they are live. They lit. His pictures make you just, even if you ain't hungry, you get hungry. But those are, to me, that's how we have to do STEM. We have to do it in that sense that what you're doing when you're doing it is you just take those little pictures to capture the moments or those little videos and make it work like that.
Which is cool, which is very cool. And I mean, like I've often said, cooking is nothing but chemistry. You're taking one form, adding a catalyst, which is heat, and changing it into another form, which is great. And I'm speaking to the choir. I need to do more stuff like that too, like make more videos, short little videos, because I spend the time on social media. I just don't spend the time on making my own stuff, which is sad. So Deshaun said, I remember when I was in elementary school, I wanted to go to space camp because I was fascinated by space. So I'm gonna make you a little jealous. I went to space camp. Between junior high and high school, it was fun. But you know what I'm saying? Not everybody knows this stuff exists. Space camp for me was in Alabama. And I went to NASA in Alabama for a week or two with my best friend. And we got to put on the outfits and we got to scuba dive and we got to do all kinds of stuff, which was great. It was so much fun. But, you know what I'm saying? How many people, if it wasn't for my mom, I'm not even gonna lie, shout her out. If it wasn't for my mom, how many people know this stuff is even an opportunity for you to go? Right? So Deshaun said we gotta flood their mind with images. You are very, very right. I personally need to work and I don't do as much as we can. Oh, let's see. Trying to restore. Okay, good. Look like we froze for a second, but we good now. But yeah, I gotta do more. You know what I'm saying? I'm so worried about how I look or how I'm gonna come off, and I kind of gotta say, "Fuck it," yes. Right? And just do it. That's me. I'm talking to myself. I'm preaching to the choir, to a mirror, I should say.
I mean, because the thing that you're looking at is that, like Deshaun's targeted group for his podcast, which is Cognac Confessions. Didn't throw that out there, but his target is the adults. So for him, he's always in his environment. For you, your targeted is parents and other scientists. So you just got to be worried about that group. You capture everybody else, but the image in science isn't glammed, right?
Yeah, it's not glam. We wear lab coats. We get dirty. We get messed up. We all that stuff. So no, we're not gonna wear a dress. We're not wearing heels. We're not gonna have fake eyelashes to go into a lab or go into the field. And that's very, very true. And like I said, I'm talking to myself when I'm talking to y'all. But yeah, I just put it into the chat. We had talked about beta box learning earlier, so I just put that in the chat. Hopefully you guys can see it. Deshaun, you're right. I need to have no fear. It's a state of mind, and my mind has been and at me. You know, you have a kid, you get tired. I'm not gonna make excuses.
I'll just say because
Not gonna make
the
excuses.
science in raising a kid, we could film that. She could capture that all day long. The techniques and the science behind that. Like Carter just had a fever, a virus where we used the ray gun, temperature gun that you point and shoot, and it read 105.
So we went straight to the emergency room.
And then when they did the core temperature, unfortunately, they had to go. They had to stick the thermometer in them.
Rectal thermometer.
Yeah, I just don't like that. But anyway, we found out that his core temperature was 101, and we was able, technique comes in, medicine comes in, wetting a beach towel and wrapping them in that to cool the cooler body. All of that is STEM. All of that, but at the time that you're doing it, you're not thinking about it. But at the same token, like I tell her, all of this can go on her podcast. I mean, basically, you just turn it into a live running thing, and maybe YouTube might be the better platform for it, just to show the science behind everything.
You're right.
But it's one thing to think about it, and then you got to have the science of actually applying it. And you got Deshaun, we got Rockefeller James, who's a great videographer and broadcast behind the scenes person who also does the voice for the sports at Stanford. Just throw that out there because I forgot the name of his actual company, which is.
We'll get back to you on that one. Yes. Okay. So she says, I just feel that the excitement of science has faded away. We don't have as many programs as before, such as Mesa, and even TV shows such as Beekman's World. Yeah, I was saying that kids just want to be social influencers now. Yes, they do. Yeah, and Deshaun said, yeah, just share the content. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this shit. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna be living like this. I'm gonna do it.
And you're still beautiful, so don't worry about it.
That's why we here. That's why we here. Anyway, yes, we don't have those programs before. Oh yeah, Deshaun put in the chat VJ TV.
Yes, that's it.
That's rock stuff. Yes. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of programs per se. Actually, there's a lot of programs out there. We just don't hear about them. There's even programs in the Bay. Sometimes you have to travel for them. And that's another barrier for some of our low income people is how do we get there? But, like Cal Academy of Science has stuff for youth, but our youth got to go to San Francisco. And that's BART, and that's it's either BART and bus or BART and Metro to get there.
And so what I was going to throw in there or jump in on that part is you got a lot of low income people, a lot of low income families who put their kids into travel sports and they make it to those things. However, as a witness, I've seen where people who put their kids into travel sports go to their local churches, go to their local community groups and ask for the extra aid and assistance in getting to those programs, to those events.
Sorry, Carter was pulling the wires. He was trying to destroy the whole thing. But yeah, there's this one's the other one. But yeah, if we can get our kids the newest clothes, the newest phone, get them to travel sports and stuff like that. See, the thing is, a lot of parents feel like travel sports or sports is the way out, right? And a lot of kids think entertainment is the way out. And I'm not disagreeing. I'm not saying that those are not options. However, education is definitely a way out. You know what I'm saying? You can go to college on that sports on that sports scholarship, or you can go to college on an academic scholarship, or both. You know what I'm saying? There's no reason you can't do any of this stuff. You know what I mean? But we just gotta let people know about these opportunities. So when I was in high school, I did um NYLF, National Youth Leadership Forum, on, and mine was on medicine, although they do other ones. And that program still exists. Now, granted, you got to put money into it for some of it. Like there's a summer part where you can go to a school and learn about something, and I think that one's paid for. But the travel aspect, me going to China, you got to pay for it, right? So you, like he said, you can go to church, you can even do a GoFundMe if you so choose. But we do this stuff for sports and for clothes and stuff like that. But we need to be able to do that for education.
And this is true. And education is highly important. And we got to get back to that nucleus where, you know, everybody that your kid is around, every time we see a kid, reminding them that school is everything, education is everything. Like you can still be that athlete, but be prepared for an injury, or be prepared not to be the phenomenon that everybody wants to be. Everybody's not going to be Jordan. Everybody's not going to be Jerry Rice. Everybody ain't going. Everybody ain't going to be that famous quarterback. You know. So when we look at that and we look at how we can work together to bring the light into STEM, we know kids are always listening, and some of us are always looking for a better job or a career to retire from, trying to make that good money to retire or to take care of our family. And we're all pushing to get into some area that tech has a lot of influence in, or science in itself, because we know it. Pharmaceuticals is science, but they get paid. They get paid.
I have a cousin in pharmaceuticals. He gets paid. He used to have a penthouse in Florida, like Miami. Yeah. Anyway, I'm jealous. I just put into the chat. It's a website called 510families.com, and it's STEM Camps East Bay. And just that, I did a quick Google search on STEM activities for kids in Oakland, and there's a whole list of things. So you can't tell me there's not programs. There's definitely camps, there's definitely programs, and then you can just ask around. I know people at UC Berkeley who do things. I know people at Stanford who do things. I know people, actually, I don't know anybody at UCSF, but I can find people at UCSF who do things. You know what I'm saying? And like doctors, I know, I can throw a stone and hit a doctor that I know. And I'm talking about an MD or DO doctor who are of different ethnicities who want the next generation to succeed. They want to help you. So there's really no excuse except for how do we make this interesting to kids.
And I like what Deshaun just said. He says they can take away the game, but they can never take away the knowledge. And it's true. As a former athlete myself, our body get old. It won't do what it used to do. But the knowledge that I acquired in college, it'll never go anywhere. It's always there, and I can always expound on it. But to me, science is that one area where the knowledge and your physical capabilities can be merged into one.
And the thing about it, STEM, is that doesn't have to be your one and only joy. That doesn't have to be your only one career. You know what I'm saying? There's people who didn't even know that they liked STEM until they took a class. They didn't know that they were going to go and be a PhD until they took a class. I've known so many people like that. No pathway is straight and narrow.
No.
You're going to have ups and downs, pitfalls, and growth. And you might even start a job that's not even in your field, but takes you to another place.
I mean, you can say that you got plenty of college examples. People go in for one, they go in for this major, come out and do nothing that they went to school for. So I mean, that's just life,
right? There's so many things like.
I know you kept me on.
I'm sorry. I mean, it's just not a lot of space.
I see all your little
Anyway. There's programs. So I met a friend of mine. Her name is DJ. She is about to have a small one.
Yes.
I'm excited for her. But anyway,
little boy.
She's down in LA and she hit me up on so much game of all these opportunities. Do you know you could do stuff with National Explorers or National Geographic? You could do things like travel to the Arctic, sail on a research boat, go on a underwater vessel. You could there's just so many things that she's done in her lifetime. These programs that are all paid for. And if you watch or listen to my podcast, I recently talked to some young ladies out in Florida who have a program called MISS, and it's Minorities in Shark Science. And they're trying to get more minorities into dealing with not just oceanography, but dealing with sharks and dealing with marine life. And they've partnered with someone who has a research boat out in Florida where you can go out that way and do it too. Go down to LA, you can go to the Catalina Islands. I'm trying to think if there's a research place not far from here, maybe an hour or so outside of Oakland, that also is right on the water, and they do a lot of marine research that you can do. And a lot of stuff is offered at colleges or local colleges or even for community college and high school. Like it's hard, not gonna lie, it's hard to do high school because you got to get the waivers, you got to make sure there's insurance, stuff like that. But they exist. That's what I'm telling you.
Yeah.
They exist. And like you can go to Marin, you can go to San Francisco. There's programs out there that's just dying to say they got minorities. They dying to throw money at you just so they can say I got some minorities.
And then for somebody like me who didn't go through all of that and do all of that, do what all Kat did, and went to school for biology and now is a true animal biologist and a scientist in her own right, I look at STEM from the more simpler aspect of the walk of life. Like, I like to drink. I'm not a good drinker, so I'm a very lightweight drinker, but I like to drink and I like mixed drinks. But there's a chemistry, there's science in that. There's a balance. There's this one guy I know named Luna. He has it down to a science on how to mix a drink. But like that's to me, like that's the fascination of science. Like where I live at currently in Oakland, 77th and MacArthur.
Let me tell people where we live.
Hey, they got donuts and everything going on, shooting all the time. I mean, there's a whole science to that, and there's a science to survive it all. But I look at science from that perspective to just survive or just to make it, and the pleasures in life, whether it's small or big. I look at the science behind that. I mean, there's ways to capture you in it that doesn't always surpass their true understanding of science.
Right. I mean, there's physicists who do basketball. They teach physics through basketball. You know what I'm saying? There's a rapping mathematician, I think is what he is. He's either a mathematician or an engineer, but he raps his stuff. You know what I'm saying? There is a show, I believe, on TV, or used to be on TV, where it was the science behind cooking.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're trying to capture the youth, which is great. But, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's still hard to do.
Yes.
And, like, he works at Youth Uprising. Mm-hmm. I was talking about how can I bring a program to these high school students at Youth Uprising to get them interested or see if they even are interested in STEM. And that was like, you know, I don't know, you know.
Yeah, because there's no when you're dealing with, I call it the nonchalant generation, right? The nonchalant generation has this mode or mood about them, like nothing impresses them, nothing bothers them, nothing moves them at all. And I call it the nonchalant. And it's dangerous for them to have that type of personality and think they're going to progress in life. But with that, you get a couple of them in that group that show interest, that show that, hey, I want more than just what's here. And it's hard to try to present to a group that has said the only way out is through social media or sports or acting, some form of entertainment, yet they don't understand math enough to see when a contract isn't working right, or understand enough English or literature to be able to read a contract to see where it's deviating from them getting the money. So it's hard because when you look at commercials and you look at TV shows and movies, the influencers, those people who act like nothing bothers them, they making the money.
Right, but like you said, you want to go into sports. Yeah, Deshaun said microwave society. Yeah, they're like, they want instant gratification. But you're talking about sports, I like to break it down. You might be a top football player at your school, right? But how many schools is in your city?
Right.
How many schools are in your county? How many schools are in your state?
Yep.
And then how many schools are in the nation? And so what makes you think your skills are to a point that they're looking at you right now and you're going to actually make it? Now, I don't like to be too much of a Debbie Downer and say that they won't make it. I just want them to look more at the statistics of them making it and for them to have something to fall back on just in case. And that's the thing, is like they don't really look at how many people are actually going into these fields. And the problem is if they're not looking at you in junior high, early high school, you ain't it. Boo. I'm sorry, you ain't it. You know what I mean? If you ain't got a scholarship yet, by the time you like a junior and they ain't asking what school you want to go to for college so you can keep this going, you not it. And I'm not saying don't stop. There's plenty of people who go in the NFL and the NBA, all that stuff after the fact. But are you LeBron James? Because they looked at LeBron James in high school, right? Junior high. So if they ain't looking at you then, you could be on the team. You might be the bench warmer. You're going to make some money. But if you don't know math, you're going to lose that money real quick. Real quick. Deshaun said it's a result of participation trophies, which it probably is.
Yes, they messed it up when everybody got a participation trophy.
Tavari agrees. I don't know if y'all heard him, but he's changing a diaper currently. But yes, he said they messed it up by giving everybody a trophy, which I agree. I mean, kids need to know you not gonna always win. And that's okay. That means you try harder the next time. Unfortunately, we have a generation of youth who feel like because they asked for it, they should get it. Because they think they deserve it, they should have it. And then they have these fits. I'm talking about grown kids, like high school age, having these meltdowns because they didn't get what they thought they should get. Because someone had the audacity to say no. And it's very unfortunate. You got to work. This was a few years ago where I went to a high school here in Oakland and I was talking to the youth about college and opportunities and stuff like that. And there was one girl who said she wasn't going to college because she didn't want to write the essay. She wasn't applying to college because she did not want to write an essay. Now, could have been some underlying reasons why she didn't want to write the essay, but as a senior in high school, the system failed you if you just can't write an essay at this point. And quite honestly, maybe she didn't need to go to college because in college, you gonna have to write quite a few. So, but there was people that were seniors at this school who thought FAFSA was free money. They thought FAFSA was going to pay for everything and they didn't have to pay anything back. They did not realize the difference between a loan and a grant. And it was very unfortunate. It was like, how did you get to this point? Because it was January or February. You're graduating in June and you don't realize what's ahead of you. And I'm not saying that people in that arena cannot grow and they can't learn. I've heard many of stories of people going to college with like a 1.9 and ending up with PhDs. Like, it's not impossible, but it's are you willing to do the work? You know what I mean? And we as adults need to be willing to do the work as well. We as adults need to be willing to say, how can I help you get to the next level? We can't keep saying, oh, I did it on my own. That means you got to do it on your own. There has to be an opportunity or a moment where I did it on my own. It was hella hard. However, I'm trying to make sure you don't have to go through what I went through. You know what I'm saying? Deshaun, what do you mean by that's not an accident? Elaborate a little bit. But yeah, we need to, in my opinion, turn around, help the next generation get to. We should want them to do better than us, not even be on our same. Get to the next level, and hopefully, and help people get to the next level again and again and again as generations and generations. Arena, I've met so many people, not only in STEM but in so many different platforms, and I want them to be a mentor to Carter when he's older. Carter's 7 months, and I'm already thinking ahead of who he can talk to, what programs he could be a part of. How can I get next level? You know what I'm saying? Oh, Deshaun said the mindset of the youth. Probably not. It's probably not by accident. We have social media where, I mean, I've seen and heard of adults who are on TikTok for hours. You know, they have things they want to do, get done, but somehow TikTok or Instagram or Facebook captures they're on it for hours. Hours. And instead of working on your personal growth, you are growing somebody else's stuff. You are helping them get to the next level, but instead of helping yourself get to the next level. And if you ain't helping yourself get to the next level, are you even helping the kids get to the next level? Like, it's all relative. It's all something we definitely need to work on. And my passion is STEM, so that's what I'm going to be working
I feel you on that. I mean, and I agree with Deshaun. It's definitely the mentality of the youth, and then we have to blame. And I will fall on this grenade. The fact that my generation of parenting, we gave way too much to our kids so that they didn't struggle or suffer like we did, and we took away from the need to evolve, the need to succeed or to grow. We took it away. I mean, when, as we say, he gets a participation award, why do I need to improve if I know I'm going to get something just for showing up? You know, where on a job, on a true job, career, you can't just, you have to perform and perform well just to get a paycheck. That's not even to get promoted.
on. Yeah. As Deshaun said, it's a double-edged sword. I mean, for me, I was raised in the belief that and you get the job, and that was not the case. You know what I'm saying? It's people I think that had less education than me, but more who were getting the jobs, and I'm like, wait a minute, I got the education, I got the stuff. Why am I not getting this? And I didn't learn a lot of stuff until I was in my 30s, unfortunately, because a lot of things I was told was this is how it works. Saying this is how it works are not the people who are um in it right now. They've done it already. They've done it they did what was right in their generation. But that's not necessarily what's right in our generation, which is why I'm always constantly asking, what do the kids need? Like, are y'all talking to the kids? Because if I'm going to bring them STEM, I want to make sure that I bring it to them the way that they can digest it, the way that they can get it, and the way that they can grow from it. So Deshaun said, if I gave you $1 million, you wouldn't treat it the same as if you went and earned the $1 million.
Amen.
Very true. Very true. You earn that $1 million, you're gonna be like, well, I worked too hard for this. I'm not about to splurge. But you give me $1 million right now, I'm blown. I mean, I ain't gonna blow all of it, but I'll blow at least half though. I'm gonna invest. I know better. But yeah, but if you earn that $1 million, you're gonna fight a little bit harder. You're gonna think twice a little bit more. And that's one of the things that we've taught in like our finance stuff is you write that your goal on a mirror or something like that. Let's say your goal, I want to go to Jamaica by September. You know what I'm saying? When you start getting your paychecks and that goal is in the forefront of your mind, you gonna be like, do I $1 coffee today?
Yes.
Do I need Do I need to go out to eat today, or I save some money for my goal? You know what I'm saying? When you have the goals, you think more of it.
Yes.
You fight for it. You do
a lot more when you know you really are. Sorry, keep talking.
I'd enjoy Jamaica just fine. Somebody else paid for it.
What I mean by is that you learn to slow down and appreciate the little things that's there, especially if you busted your tail to earn the money to get there. Where if someone else is paying for it, you'll overlook the small things that because you're looking for the grand gesture of everything.
That's possibly true. So, I mean, all in all, for me, like I've grown to meet so many different people and be a part of different programs, and I'm still, trying to get on more programs. I mean, the pandemic, of course, slowed some of it down, but when the world open again, cat gonna be gone. I might take this one with me. This one, if I can, because I wouldn't. But I mean, the truth of the matter, I don't know left from right and right from wrong for a couple of years, so you might stay home with daddy until you about 5, 6, 10.
Right.
You appreciate it then. Yeah, Mr. Wiggle what? But I mean, everything's a learning process. I'm learning the science of children. Yes. Every day.
Yes, she is. She's doing a wonderful job at it.
Yes. So, I'm gonna go ahead and end this rant I've been on, so we can spend some quality time.
Well, I got another topic a friend of mine had brought up. And the topic was how when you're living in poverty or hood type of environments that we call hood, poor areas, that there's a cultural difference, which I we can all agree to that. But we're not, for most of us that grew up in the flats of Oakland or in the barrels of wherever you may be from, or the slums or wherever you may be from, wherever, that we're not taught to help each other. And it's when we look at how hard it is for some of us to grow our podcast or our social media pages for whatever reason we are, or even a business. We're not taught to support each other or help each other. If you go to an established, like for me, because I'm black, I'm gonna just use a black example. Type of service, even though I know that they don't have the 4-star type of income or material to give it to you. But if the waiter's slow, I'm gonna complain. If the food came out cold, I'm gonna complain. And if they ran out of
macaroni and cheese,
for instance, if they ran out of macaroni and cheese, knowing that's what we coming for, especially if it's, we're gonna complain. But if I go to a non-black establishment, non-minority establishment, all of those things are then accepted, expected, and anticipated, and we don't complain about it. We'll still leave a tip, even though the waiter or waitress may only came around once or twice.
Not me.
And one of those things, when I look at how, when we're talking about trying to grow the youth or ensure that the youth is better, are unity helping?
I mean, that's a good question. Like dealing with the people who are a lot, you know what I'm saying? And that's hopefully when we do these programs where things are paid, but then, you know what I'm saying, some of them are helping their family. They're working, they're doing X, Y, and Z, and it's a little bit harder to help them get to that point, but on the same token, they gotta want it. They gotta want it, and it's a double-edged sword, like Deshaun said earlier. It's one of those things where I don't have the answer. You know what I'm saying? I don't have the answer what we do and how we get there. Like, but that thing for supporting one another, oh, that's a big deal in the Black community. It's so we see other ethnicities,
yes,
supporting each other left and right. And then when it comes to us, it's like, And another thing is for me is we got to get out of our bubble. Why is the only restaurants we own soul food? We know how to cook hot dogs. We know how to cook Chinese food. We know Mexican food. We could do all kinds of stuff if we so chose. But you know what I'm saying? We sometimes stick in our bubble, and it's hard for us to see others grow. It's one of the things I can share a fight video and 100 people will share it, and I show a video of somebody doing science and 2 people will share it. I don't know. I don't have the answer. I'm not Houdini about it, so I don't know.
And how you get it from off camera, you don't always need an answer to start to provide assistance. Sometimes just providing assistance and the community will then come up with the answer.
Comfort zones kill dreams. That's right, Deshaun. I mean, I'm definitely one of those people. Like when I see people doing stuff, especially STEM, I share all their stuff on Facebook as much as I can. Now, do I get the same treatment? No, I won't even lie. Now, if I'm expecting the same treatment, then that might be on me because once you start expecting things, you realize people are not gonna do what you do. It hurts your feelings. But for how I feel about things, I'm gonna share your stuff because I just want to see everyone succeed. I think there's enough out there for all of us to get the paper, for all of us to get an opportunity. And I would never take the opportunity from anybody else. You know what I mean? I want everybody to win. And I gotta get out of my own comfort zone, Deshaun. Ooh, it's so true. I am my own worst enemy.
Yes,
because I see so many other people. I'm not gonna lie. I see so many other people in STEM whose social media is blowing up, and they're getting invited to do this and do that. And I'm like, shit, I've been doing this stuff too. Why is nobody listening to me? Why am I not blowing up? Why my Instagram ain't at 1,000, 2,000 people? You know what I'm saying? Which is low, 10,000 people. But not to compare myself to them. I keep going. I still gonna do what I do. I'm still gonna do this podcast. I know it's been a minute. It's been a couple Wednesdays that we was gonna do this, and then something just kind of came up, especially last week when everybody was sick. And
I'd be like, you need to shoot it anyway.
He right. He do. He right. Like I said, I'm the one in the way. I'm in my own head space.
She's doing a great job, and she's definitely pushing, and she is a big supporter of others. But like I tell her, you're expecting too much sometimes, because the way I see it, support one person and a totally different group of people that you don't know will support you. However, we as a culture, we have this tendency not to be consistent.
You talking about me?
No, I ain't. I'm talking about all of us. And like me, my second family is Hispanic, and Maria and Arturo did a great no matter what the case is, no matter how much it costs, no matter where they're at, no matter what they're selling. And I know a lot of Hispanics that I don't care what they do, they know they could go get quality substance somewhere else. They will go find that dude pushing that little cart or that woman that's pushing that little cart and buy just about everything they got there because the whole team went with them. Where we won't do that with each other. We can say we're doing something and we'll find a reason and a rhyme not to support.
Yeah, I like bacon and I can't give half the shit away. I'm like, this shit free. All you gotta do is come get it. It's free. You know what I'm saying? And I can't even get this shit away sometimes.
But shout out to Christina because she's always there.
Christina always come eat my stuff, which is great. I feel we there. But anyways, we're gonna end on this. Deshaun said the blessed one is the giver. Love it. And Tress, Tress, I feel you. I don't always want to do mine, but I keep going. You right?
Yes, he does. Right. Yes, he does.
And I need to emulate you a lot more.
And everybody should check out
Cognac Confessions. Yes. It's on Fridays.
But it be lit. It be lit. And it's grown folks conversation. Just
I think
put that out there.
I think you can call in now, right, Deshaun? You can let them know. But I think you can, if you got something to say, you can call in and be like, I don't like what you're saying. Boom, boom, boom.
And he's one of, and I'm gonna say this, he's a great host on that part because he does allow everybody to have their own opinion and express it and not take it personal. He keeps the show flowing.
On that note, I'm hungry. It's hot.
This one right here, bruh. Carter
is destroying things. So, he said this Friday gonna be extra lit. Okay. So grab your drink and hit them. Watch them on Friday evenings, 6:00. Cognac.
And you can cast it to your TV. It's really good like that.
Yes, you can cast us, but you're gonna see all this up close, so I don't think you want to. Anywho,
this one,
y'all have a great,
naturally beautiful, and she still creates digs for herself.
That's why he gets it. Anyways, y'all have a good night.